Okay, let's get into it. Okay, this is my Evermore review. I know it's a little bit late. The album came out over a week ago, but here I am. I can finally do it. So here we go. Obviously, I was so excited to get another surprise album. That is so cool, and we're so lucky. And that's just awesome for her to do that. To just be like, yeah, it's coming out tonight. So very excited. Okay, so let's just jump in. There's 15 songs to do. First off, we have Willow, which of course was the first that we heard because the music video came out at midnight, and so I watched the video, and then afterwards listened to the album. I really like this one a lot. It's very pretty, it's very soothing. I love the way that her voice sounds, especially on those certain lines in the chorus, wherever you stray, I follow. Very nice. Anywhere else is hollow. That sounded very nice. And in the same vein of that, the lyrics, I liked the story behind it, the more that you say, the less I know, meaning, she felt very sure of herself. Nobody's going to break through that sort of barrier. Nobody could before, but this person can. And so that makes her not so sure of herself like she always has been. And it seems like a good, happy relationship. It seems pleasant, and it was sweet, and it was charming, and the video was beautiful. I really liked that. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. I really like this song. I have no complaints about it. And it's visually stunning. The video, like I said, is gorgeous. And I think it sets a really good tone for the album. So that was a 9 out of 10. I gave very high ratings for these songs, even though I think that I like Folklore more than Evermore. I think mathematically my ratings are going to be higher for this. And that was because I looked back at the ratings that I gave Folklore, and I was like, well, those songs grew on me. Even if I gave them like not such a great rating at first, I grew to like them more, and I knew that would happen with this. So I did my review after my fourth listen. My fourth time listening to the album is when I wrote down all my thoughts and kept my notes and did my ratings. And I guess I preemptively rated them, even higher than maybe I would have, because I was like, this is how much you like them now, but they always grow on you, which is true. So 9 out of 10 for Willow. Champagne Problems got an even higher rating, actually. I love the chorus on this one, and I love the story behind this song very much. Like, this girl could not be what the guy wanted, what he needed. He was so sure, and I think that's what makes it so devastating. That's what really hurts, and the fact that he was so sure. And was like, oh yeah, she's going to say yes, we're going to be great. Being so sure about something and being certain it's going to happen, and then it not happening, being blindsided by that, I think is very, very tough. And so that was, a difficult emotion to get across in song, but she really has that way with words that you can absolutely feel it. Even right from the beginning of the song, he's on the train and he wanted to be alone with his thoughts. You picked the night train for a reason. And you already are kind of getting in that headspace. He thought they were going to have this happily ever after. He'd propose, everything would be great. And that's not how it happened, obviously. And the bridge is excellent. She's the queen of bridges. As we all know, her bridges are great. She packs so much story and so much depth and emotion into the bridges. I didn't even look at my note, but that's literally what it is. She can pack so many words and meaning into such a small part of the song, which is so true. And particularly for when she has those fast, lyric heavy bridges. And it's like you're absolutely in the headspace of those characters of the song. I love that. That's my favorite thing about her songwriting. So I give that one a 9.5 out of 10. I really like Champagne Problems. It's emotional and it's pretty. And I didn't actually have this thought, but I saw someone else say that it reminds them of New Year's Day, which is funny because that's not one of my favorite songs of hers, but I really like Champagne Problems. And now that I listen to it again, I do definitely hear those similarities very much. Like, you were on a high and now you're at this low because things don't last. So I definitely hear the similarities there, and even musically with the piano. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for Champagne Problems. Really like it. Next up is Gold Rush. This song, I like the verses a lot more than I like the chorus. It feels very ethereal, I thought. The beginning and the end, where they have that mirroring the parallel lyric there. So inviting, I almost jump in. And I also wrote here, she's the queen of similes, which is absolutely true. She's great with figurative language, metaphors, similes. It's all one big imagery fest. It's amazing. And again, there's so many words so quickly in this song that I'm like, I need to listen to this many times before I really get the whole meaning of it. And that's what's so great about her albums. You're not going to get it all right away. You're not going to understand the story completely the first time. Even my second time listening to the album, I was listening to No Body, No Crime, and I was like, oh wait, now I know what this is about. Like I knew it was murder, but I didn't understand the whole story because the first time I was listening, just like, oh, this sounds cool. But yeah, listening to it the next day, I was like, oh, hold on, I know the whole story, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. A line that I really enjoyed and found quite relatable from Gold Rush, what must it be like to grow up that beautiful? That's something that we all can relate to because we're like, this person has such a better life. Wish I was them. They're gorgeous. Things just are easier for them. And so I found that quite relatable. And it's a pretty song. And I always appreciate the songs that she does with Jack Antonoff. I'm a big fan of him and his production. And then, of course, the song had a special line in it. It says, "My mind turns your life into folklore," which is so cool because she forgot to say folklore on the last album. This one says evermore on two songs, on Long Story Short and on the song Evermore. It was nice to get that little folklore mention. And I also like that line because it encapsulates the feeling. My mind turns your life into folklore. It's not that your mind is, or that your life is this amazing, wonderful, grand adventure, but that's what it seems like to me because, I've got stars in my eyes for you, and the grass is always greener. So I feel like your life is amazing and flawless, even though I'm sure it isn't. No one's is. So that was Gold Rush. I gave that one an 8 out of 10, which honestly is like almost as low as I think I go. Almost. I do go a little bit lower, but I don't want to go too low because I'm never going to be like, oh, I don't like this song. I'll just be like, it's not my favorite. Okay, next up, number 4, 'Tis the Damn Season. Love the story of this one. It's another one where you really, really get in that headspace and you absolutely are like, okay, I know what's going on. This person is going home for the holidays. She wishes that she hadn't left in the first place. It's the road not taken looks really great right now because if only she had stayed. And that's a literary reference, of course, to The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Taylor does a lot of literary references. Obviously, she's a big reader, which is awesome. And I love that in those literary references, you then get more lyrical depth because if you look into those stories and those poems and those works of literature, you'll have an even deeper understanding of the songs, which is awesome. So I just kind of wrote my thoughts. Just for now, the characters in the song, they can pretend that she never left. Even though she's only home for a little bit, it's all going to be temporary. It's only the holiday season, but they can pretend she didn't left and things are still like they used to be. But then, as it says, she's going to go back to her new life, back to LA. Even though it's not what she wants, it's like, she's picked that, so that's what she's going to do. She's happier, it seems, in her hometown back with this person. And if only it could be that simple. But at least for now, for this weekend, it can be. And then, they'll go back to their normal lives. And I've always liked stories like that, where it's like, we're just going to pretend for a little bit in this moment in time. I've always appreciated that. And that one's nice. I mean, again, the words tell a wonderful story. I gave that one a 9.5 out of 10. Ooh, I'm giving some high scores. I'm really throwing out some big numbers here. But I mean, they're great. There's a lot of lyrical depth on this album, of course. I think she's gotten better and better and better at using her words to tell stories and having you feel the emotions that the people in the songs are feeling. And knowing exactly what she's talking about in just a few words. And you're like, yeah, I completely get that. Even if it's not something that you've actually been through, it's still something that you can envision in your head. Ooh, we got Tolerate It. Oh my gosh, this one. I loved it right away. Because again, it's so relatable. It's like you give so much to these people and they're just like, okay, whatever. Obviously, she really, really loves this person in the song and they're just indifferent. She does all of these things. She tries so hard and they're like, yeah, not really noticing it, not really caring about it. Lines that I loved that were so pretty. If it's all in my head, tell me now. Tell me I've got it wrong. That's, again, you just want people to communicate, say if I'm doing something wrong, if there's something that I need to know that I'm not getting, that's not coming across to me, tell me. And again, her voice is very beautiful on this. And I don't know anything about music or about instruments, but I love the sounds in the chorus that are like synthy as she's saying those lines. If it's all in my head, tell me now. And even the lines before it, even the lines of the whole chorus, there's some kind of, I'm saying synthy sound, but I'm not even sure if that's correct. But the production I really, really like. It sounds really like delicate. I also really like the reference to Invisible String, where she talks about you threw blankets over my barbed wire, which is very similar to the line in Invisible String. I love a reference to another song, and I don't usually catch them, to be honest. I'll be like, oh, that's maybe a little familiar, but I don't usually get right away. Like with this one, I was like, oh my gosh, Invisible String, because I just listened to it earlier in that day. And I was like, that's what she talks about in there. Because I love those lines in Invisible String. Wool to braid the seasons. What is it? Something around my demons. I don't know, but something, yeah, she's got these pointy edges, these rough parts, and he's able to smooth that out. And they're echoing that same sentiment here, which is very cool. Also, what I liked about this song, which was a little unexpected, is that there's hope at the end. It's a very morose song. It's a very sullen, somber song, because she gives so much to this person. Her love should be appreciated and should be celebrated, and people should be so happy that she's doing all of this and giving her whole heart to this person. And he's just like, whatever, couldn't really care less, indifferent, ambivalent to it. But at the end, there is that hope of, maybe I could leave. Believe me, I could do it. Like, she's going to remove herself from this toxic situation. And again, I think that's pretty unexpected. You think the whole song is just going to be kind of like the wallowing, I deserve better, but it won't be better. But this is like, I could leave, I might. Who knows if it's, an empty thread or what, but it's nice to have it in there at least. I give this one a 10 out of 10. That's very high. So according to this, that would be my favorite song from the album, but that's not true anymore. This was after my 4th listen, like I said. I don't think this is my favorite. I like it a lot, but I don't think it's my favorite, even though it clearly was when I did this rating. But that was tolerated with a 10 out of 10, according to my 4th listen, which who knows how many times I've listened now. Definitely more than that, because it's been out for a week and 2 days now. So, all right, cool. I'm trying to go quickly, as you can see. Number 6, No Body, No Crime. We all love this one, of course. It's classic country. I'm not obviously a big country fan, but that's the kind of country that you typically hear that I don't really like, tractors and beer and whatever. But this reminds me of Carrie Underwood before he cheats. Very much reminds me of that, because it's the vindictive, it's wanting revenge. It's, yeah, exactly. You've wronged me, and here's what's going to happen. No Body, No Crime. I don't listen to Haim, to be honest with you, but I liked their presence here. I enjoyed their feature on the song. And so here's the little story of it. I'm sure most of you know it by now, but here's the story. SG's man is cheating on her, and that's what they're talking about in the first chorus. I think he did it, but I can't prove it, is that he's cheating, because it talks about it smells like infidelity. That's not her Merlot on his mouth. That's not her jewelry on their joint account. He's obviously cheating with some other woman. Then, in the next part, he kills Esty. It says, Esty didn't show up at Olive Garden. She wasn't at her job. We can't find her. His truck has new tires because of the tire tracks that they would leave. And then his mistress moves into the house. Obviously, he got rid of Esty in order to have the mistress move in. And then Taylor's like, or the narrator of the song, whether it's Taylor or not, is like, well, you just killed my best friend. You were cheating on her. You killed her. I'm going to kill you. And so that next part comes in with her then murdering the guy. And they all think it was the mistress that killed the guy because of the life insurance policy. So it's a tangled web. And it's not even a long song. It's like 3 minutes and a half maybe. But it has that whole story in it. So which, again, I love that. You can pack so much story into a little bit of time. I was reading a little bit about this song, and Taylor was saying how she was inspired by true crime podcasts and documentaries that she's really obsessed with. And those are obviously a huge thing right now. Everybody loves those, but I've loved those for a while. And so that felt really cool to me, that I was like, wow, we have that in common, you know. And the details of this song are magnificent. I literally wrote that down. The details are magnificent because the speaking character, the narrator, whether it's Taylor or not, talks about, you know, good thing I have that boating license. My dad made me get a boating license when I was 15. So we get a little bit of her backstory. And she obviously cleans houses as some kind of maid or housekeeper. And so she knows how to cover up the scene, meaning the murder scene of the guy that she killed. It's just fun. It's so fun. And she has a fun country twang in this song. It's almost kind of like she's yodeling at the end, actually, when she says, something till I won't let up until the day he dies. And then she kind of drags it out at the end. I can't sing it all, but it kind of sounds like yodeling. I thought it was very cool, very like country. And I enjoyed that. I gave No Body, No Crime an 8.5 out of 10. And again, these ratings have changed because I feel like I would give it a 9 out of 10 now that I've listened to it more. I really enjoy that song. Even though it's not probably my classic type of song. You know, I don't usually listen to country, like I said. Excuse me, but I really like it. 8.5 out of 10, according to my fourth listen. Excuse me, I just had some pop. Okay, number 7 is Happiness. A lot of people really like this song, and I've been seeing that online. A lot of people have been saying it's one of their favorites. I thought it was kind of boring. And again, it has grown on me now, but it's not very exciting. Not that all songs have to be exciting, but it's so long. It's the longest song on the album. And I don't think it warrants that. I don't think it needs to be that long. But I liked the message. I really did. You know, they've had a very, very nice 7 years together, this couple. But they'll be okay without each other, too. You know, yes, it was a great time. They were happy, but they'll be happy again, which is obviously what the whole song is about. Yes, it's tough now, but it doesn't always have to be. Some lines that I did really like. I haven't met the new me yet. I liked that a lot. Like, you know, she's not always going to be the same person, and she's not going to be, you know, as young as she was when she was probably in this relationship. So maybe the new versions of themselves aren't compatible with each other, and that's okay. That happened. And again, it's a cool song because I feel like it's different than a lot of songs because so many songs about the end of relationships are bitter, but this one isn't at all. It's, you know, nobody cheated on anybody, nobody betrayed anybody, there wasn't a huge falling out. They just weren't the same people anymore as they were when they first got together. They weren't the same people. They grew up, they changed, they matured, and they didn't fit together anymore. And that is fine. And they'll be happy again someday. They don't have to be happy together. They can be happy apart. That's fine. That's okay. They forgave each other. It talks about, you know, you want forgiveness. You want me to give you forgiveness. And we haven't met the new me yet. Maybe she can give you that. You know, maybe this new, improved, more mature version of me can forgive and we can move on and it can be great. I do like the message. I really do. I gave this one a 7 out of 10 because, like I said, I found it quite boring. And there's no crescendo. I want there to be. Like, I want it to build up to something, and it doesn't. The whole time it doesn't. It just stays that melancholic vibe and that same rhythm. I would love if it built up to a crescendo, like All Too Well, her best song ever, how it hits that high point, and it goes so much harder, and you're like, that makes the whole song absolutely, you know, it brings it up a level. There's a whole new tier. So 7 out of 10 for Happiness, and it's number 7 on the album. Dorothea, it's number 8. Really like this one. Really like this one. Fun, very fun. This one's a new perspective. She has done songs before about someone who's gone away and been famous, like The Lucky One, where she talks about that celebrity status, how that's not, you know, something that makes you happy, and she's glad that she got out of that. And this one is a little bit like that, but it's a new perspective because her friend in this song got famous and moved away from their hometown. And obviously that's not something that Taylor can relate to because she's the one who got famous and went and moved out of them. I mean, she still lives in Nashville, but you know what I mean. This is told from the point of view of someone who was left behind, somebody who was friends with this person and they went and they had their success and got famous and left them behind, but no animosity there. Again, it says, what does it say exactly? What are the exact words? I wish nothing but good things for you. I don't know what the exact words are, but yeah, I've got nothing but well wishes for you. I think that's what it is. She just wants everything to be good. But it seems like the friend, Dorothea, was happier at home, was happier back when they were children. It talks about they would go to the park, they missed the prom, they had all this fun together, they hung out under the bleachers, all of these little tidbits of their friendship and their life together. And it makes it seem, quite idyllic to look back on that, and it sounds like she was happier when they had that rather than how she is now out in California. I don't know if it actually says, but wherever she went to be famous. My favorite line, of course, the stars in your eyes shined brighter and two below. It's succinct, it's concise, but it says a lot. She was happier, had more life in her when she was at home, when she was back in Mississippi. That's in Mississippi, right? I also just really like the delivery of that line, the way that she sings it. It sounds fun and nice, and it gets stuck in your head. The subject of the song, Dorothea, is very successful, I wrote down, but she might give it all up because it's clearly not making her happy. So we don't really see the end of that story. We don't see if she does, but she might give it up. She might come home. It's never too late, as it says in the song. Okay, so Dorothea, I gave a 9 out of 10. Like that one a lot, and I still really like that one. Is it my favorite? I don't know. I don't like to just pick one favorite, but it's up there for sure. All right, number 9, Coney Island. This one is featuring the National, which was pretty cool because she's obviously been working with Aaron Dessner a lot, writing songs with him. So it was cool to see her working with the band and having the singer featured as well. But the song's a little boring. I'm so sorry to say it, but it is. It seems like it would be so nostalgic. It's called Coney Island, and I thought it would be like, we used to go to Coney Island when we were kids. Our grandparents would take us. That's just what I pictured in my head. But it's also, like I said, kind of boring. But it's about a relationship and the falling apart of a relationship, like many of the songs are. It seems she just didn't prioritize their relationship in this song, because it talks about, like, I'm sorry I didn't make you my centerfold. I'm sorry I didn't win you arcade ring or something like that. So it's like neither one of them really prioritized the relationship. They seem to just not really care about the relationship anymore. Like it's fallen apart, and they just didn't do anything to fix it, because they were like, I don't know, too caught up in their own thing or too depressed to do anything. I didn't write a ton of notes about this song, just that I thought it was going to be nostalgic about like a family, and it ended up not being about that. I do like the sound of their voices together, her and the singer, Matt something. I do like the sound of their voices, but I don't know, this song just didn't do much for me. It was kind of, it wasn't a highlight. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Which is as low as I went for this album, actually. I went lower for Folklore, even though I think I like Folklore better as an album. But next up is Ivy, which I really like. Really like Ivy. Number 10. It's pretty and it's whimsical. Again, it reminded me of Willow in that way. They're both pretty and whimsical, and you picture it in your head, and it's gorgeous. And it's like the green fields and the lights. It's like takes me to Terabithia, which is not a real place. So the story of this song, she's engaged to someone else, or they end up getting married because it talks about her husband's wine, but she's engaged to someone else, but this other person that she's talking to in the song has her heart, and it talks about that. I put my hands in yours, you hold my pain in your freezing palms. My heart is with another. My hand. I don't know. You can tell that I didn't write the lyrics down, and I'm sorry about that. But this other person that she's not actually with has her heart for sure. And I, again, love the imagery that she talks about. I'm covered in you. You're the ivy covering my house now. You can't hide it. And then she does get married, but she's still seeing this other person. Illicit Affairs from the last album, which I love that song. And those are both number 10 on the album. Ooh, which I wanted to mention that with number 7, happiness, it has a connection to number 7, 7 on folklore, because they both talk about being above the trees. It says like, honey, when I'm above the trees. And in 7, it says something very similar to that. Um, I'm swinging above the trees, right? So that was a very cool connection. I love parallels like that. All together. Sorry though to go on that little tangent because that was about happiness. Back to Ivy. Um, she and this person that she is cheating with, which I think is a girl. It seems like that to me. They have the same passions and they have the same ideas about life. You know, the important things, the things that matter in life, what they hold dear and what they believe in life and want to pursue and the things that mean a lot to them, their ideas about humanity and their passions for whether it be, you know, art or architecture or whatever it may be. It seems that they have those things in common. They are just more suited for each other than she is with the person that she's married. And that's sad, obviously. That happens a lot. And I think it's cool that this song took it in not like the heartbreaking way, not in the we can never be together, but I wish we could kind of way. It wasn't that. It's a lot more whimsical, like I said. And she still gets to have this relationship, even if it's not her like official relationship. It's not the one that she's committed to publicly, you know, but it's the one that matters. I gave 9 out of 10. I like Ivy a lot. And I even just love the beginning. How's one to know? It's pretty. I really like it. I really do. Number 11, Cowboy Like Me. Not really a fan. Not so much. But I do like it more now that I know the story. Because I think that is an interesting story. They are swindlers, a guy and a gal, and they were going to these fancy resorts and you know, cheating people out of their money and swindling them and manipulating and blackmailing. And that's cool. That's a fun story. That's unique. And I do enjoy that. It's, you know, not something you hear a lot of songs about. But at first, I didn't know the story, and I was like, oh, this is boring. And the delivery of the song is kind of boring. I do like some parts, but overall, I do like the delivery of this line. I could be the way forward, only if they pay for it. Because I wasn't totally sure what she was saying at first. I thought it was the way for it, only if they pay for it. And I do like the delivery of that line. It's like resigned to it. I think like they kind of know that their life isn't going to endure. This way of life isn't going to be sustainable for them, but it's working now. And they are able to use, you know, their wiles and their charm to get money out of these people and manipulate them and use them to their advantage. And again, that's a cool idea for a song. Most songs aren't about things like that. I didn't know that it was about swindlers at first. I do like that more, and that does make me appreciate the song more. But Cowboy Like Me, I don't like that choice of words. It's not what I thought the song was going to be. You know, I thought it, although I guess that is kind of what cowboys are, right? I don't know a whole lot about history, but swindling people, cheating people, breaking the law, being outlaws. So I guess it makes sense, but it's just not what I anticipated. And it's hard to sometimes reconcile what you thought a song was going to be with what it is. And this wasn't what I hoped it was, I guess. Even though, like I said, it is a cool... I still gave it a pretty good... I gave it a 7 out of 10. That's still pretty darn good, I think. But I didn't want to go too low, so I don't know. It's 7 out of 10, whatever. That's the lowest that I went on the whole album, so it's definitely one of my least favorites of the album. But let's move on. Let's see. Number 12, Long Story Short. I like it. I like this one because it's more upbeat. I really needed some upbeat songs. Obviously, I really like the direction that she's taken doing the slow, melancholic songs. But you gotta have a little bit of upbeat, like how they had Betty on the last one. You gotta have a little bit of that. And Long Story Short brings that out. I like the production of this song. And then a little bit about the story. She picked the first guy who was there, as it says. It was the wrong guy. I liked the line, I always felt I must look better in the rear view. it's like they appreciate her more when she's gone. You know, during the actual relationship, they're probably not appreciating her, or they're more seeing her flaws and focusing on that. But then when they look back, they're like, you know what? I had a good thing. You appreciate it when it's gone, you know? So I look better than view of you. I enjoy that. I actually love the lyrics of the chorus of this one at the beginning where it says, uh, you know, fell off the pedestal, right down the rabbit hole. It's cute. It's cute. It takes me back to the whole Alice in Wonderland thing of she has the song Wonderland on 1989. Those always are really fun to me. Any sort of like fairy tale-esque song, which I know she used to be quite famous for. So it's kind of fun. Let's get into that. And I love the ending of the song too. Long story short, I survived. It has that hopeful, positive ending. She got through this. It wasn't a great time for her. It wasn't the best decision for her, but it's over now and she's through it and things are going to be okay. I'm going really fast, and that's good because I think sometimes my videos are just so long and who wants to watch such a long video? But I'm already almost done. I have only 3 more songs to go. Number 13 is Marjorie, which is about her grandmother. I love the advice that her grandmother gives her. I love those lines so much. I don't know if that's actually advice her grandmother gave her, but probably it is because she usually does base, you know, if it's about a specific person, she'll use very specific details. So I really liked those. Don't be too kind that you forget to be clever, and don't be too clever that you forget to be kind. That's very important, and that's wise advice. And then the same in the next chorus. Don't forget to be polite, even though you're powerful. And don't be too powerful to be polite. Did I say the same thing twice? Probably I did. But either way, very cool advice, smart, and true. Like you do need to have a careful balance of all of those things. The chorus is very simple, very pretty. It's very sweet. You know, you're still alive even though you're dead. You know, because I have you in my head. Simple, but it's a nice sentiment. It really is. It's like she should have cherished her grandmother and held on to her, the memory of her things. And I love this one specific part where she says that, you know, I complained the whole drive home, things like that. Like she obviously did not want to go see her grandmother at all. Didn't want to be bothered. And now she's like, well, darn it, I wish that I had, you know, held on to those. And again, these are so relatable, these things that everybody goes through where they're like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And then once somebody is gone, you're like, well, I really wish that I had appreciated that time. But she still holds her in her heart. Clearly, she remembers a lot of things about her. Another great line from this song is when she talks about her dreams that she left for her. It's like, you know, she probably had the same aspirations and she didn't maybe follow those dreams and couldn't. But look how successful Taylor is now, and it's kind of like in Marjorie's memory and in her honor. So that was really cute. I like that. I gave Marjorie a 9 out of 10. It's very pretty. Closure. I really liked the crunchy beginning of this one. That's what I call it, crunchy. It has that production at the beginning that is fast and I don't know about music, so it's hard to describe, but it sounds neat, even though it doesn't fit with the rest of the album. I do like the fast delivery of the words, especially at the beginning. It gets you into it really quickly, and it's fun. So the story of this one, I said she's still in pain, she's still angry, clearly, but she doesn't want his pity. The guy is like, you know, obviously sends this letter checking in on her, and she's like, I don't want that. Please, you don't need to think about me. I don't want you to worry about me. I'm going to be fine. Yes, it hurt. Yes, I do have this anger and this spite that she talks about, but that's not something that he needs to concern himself with. He needs to stop pretending that they can be friends. You know, he just wants to tie everything up into a tidy little bow and everything be okay. He just needs to leave her alone, though. She'd be better off if he just left her alone. She's like, I don't need anything from you anymore. You know, I'm fine, or I'm going to be fine. This is a short song. So this album is short, and also, like I said, it doesn't fit really musically with the album either, because it does have more of that production, and it's not as, even though lyrically it is pretty melancholy, it just musically, I don't think it fits with the rest of the album, but I do like it as a song. And I like her delivery of a lot of the lines as well, vocally. I gave it a 8.5 out of 10. Nice. Lastly, we have Evermore. This one has a lovely melancholic vibe. It was another collaboration with Bonnie Iver that she has on Folklore. Exile was much better, in my opinion. I like Bonnie Iver's contribution to Exile a lot more than I like his contribution here. I like the song Evermore, but once he comes into it, I like it definitely less. I'm not a huge fan of his falsetto delivery. I like his deep voice on Exile. But let's see what I wrote down. Let's talk about what I wrote down. I said the words evoke a very gray, depressing mood, which they do. She talks about it being November, it being December. It feels very wintry in the same respect that Folklore, the album, felt autumnal. You know, it felt like fall. And this album feels more like winter, particularly this song Evermore, but also obviously 'Tis the Damn Season is set during the Christmas time, the holidays. So it definitely feels wintry, which works because it came out in winter, whereas Folklore feels very, like I said, autumnal, but that came out in the summer. So interesting dichotomy there. I don't like the song as much as Exile, but I also didn't like that one as much as I do now right away. The first time that I listened to Exile, the first few times, I wasn't as crazy about it as I am now. I really, really like it now. So I was like, well, maybe Evermore will grow on me. They do the call and response in this song just like they do in Exile, where she's singing and he's singing, and his is kind of in the background and hers is kind of in the background, and they're kind of overlapping each other, but it's just not as effective. It doesn't work as well in this song as it did in Exile. Part of that is definitely because of the falsetto voice that he is using, because it doesn't have the sort of opposite, the polar opposite of her voice that they had in Exile, where, you know, she's saying one thing that is completely opposite of what he's saying, while also the voices are opposites. And that worked really well in Exile, and it's not working here. And it is partly because of the falsetto. But I think the overlapping part of it just wasn't as good either. Like, it just, the separation isn't as easy to find there with the actual words that they're saying. It didn't make as much sense to me, the call and response. It just didn't. Lyrically, I felt like in the last one, they were responding to each other. But in this one, I don't know. I just kind of feel like they're talking over each other, I guess. I didn't think it was super effective. And then my last note for this one, they haven't given up hope. So much of the song is talking about, I thought this pain would last forevermore. And then in the end, it's, you know, I had this feeling that it wouldn't last forevermore, excuse me. I didn't write this down, but I do like her delivery of peculiar a lot. The way that she makes that rhyme with whatever is said before it. She has a very cool delivery. I very much admire her dedication, because you could tell that she worked really hard on these songs, writing them, recording them, producing them. I think she makes every other artist look bad, because during quarantine they're not putting out 2 surprise albums. She does it better than anybody else. You know, nobody doesn't like her, and I'm very, very grateful that we have these songs to listen to. I gave Evermore a 7.5 out of 10, the song Evermore. Let's see what I would give the album. Let me do the math. Like I said, the math isn't exactly correct based on my feelings, because I know that this score is going to be higher than Folklore, but I like Folklore better. But this is still a really good album. I'm going to do the math really quick. My ratings of each of the songs divided by 15 to find out what my average rating is for the album. So give me just a second. Okay, so if you add up the ratings that I gave all of the songs, and then you add up all of the songs out of 10, it would be 150 total points, and I gave 127, so 127 divided by 150 is 85%. So I gave the album an 85%. That's really high. All right, cool. I liked it. And I hope you liked it too. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. And I'm sorry about the video. First of all, that it's late, very late. And I didn't go super into depth, I feel like. I took a lot of notes. But I think I just delivered them really, really fast. Yeah, I mean, because I said everything that I wrote down, I think. So I hope you like the album, and I hope that you like my review of it, my analysis. I love doing these. It's very fun to analyze the songs and interpret what she's saying, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bye.